Good morning, colleagues. Welcome to today's session, which has been done as part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. But this session is predominantly focused on the cohort that we've picked, the 3x3x3 residency program, the entrepreneurs in residence, right? Somebody asked me yesterday, Mokezi, please explain to us why entrepreneur in residence. So entrepreneurs don't have time to be sitting in incubators, spaces, for 6 months or so on, because they need to be focused on building companies. So we are assuming the Accelerate Startup Program or Accelerate partnership with us is meant to actually accelerate. So these are entrepreneurs that are in residence. And as you would know, you can go to a country and be a resident. So you are there temporarily because you're on a mission. So that's the whole essence of this program. So today we have a session, a strategy session with other than our friend, who's a friend to Botswana, Dr. Roche Mamabolo, the pioneer of TEDx Gaborone, but also the pioneer of LoRa, which is an innovation center based in Johannesburg. They also operate a campus here in Gaborone. And it's quite interesting to share with you that the great work that we do at Mwana Africa and the work that we do with Jan was actually inspired by Dr. Mamabolo. So a lot of people, they don't know like how the Global Entrepreneurship Week started in Botswana. So this is all his work, the mentorship that he provides directly to us on our company as a supporting board member and also just an advisor of our company. So our success is a true reflection of his work, his mentorship. He's gone on, of course, built like platforms like TEDx Gaborone, as you know it. He does his work, his flagship. He's now left that. He's now doing TEDx Johannesburg, so which is like a platform that you all know about. So today's session, he will be running, the session. There will be part one, which will be done today, and then part two will be done on Friday. And then as a follow-up, we'll have one-on-ones to just structure the startups to fundraising. And just a reminder to the colleagues that are here, these sessions are extremely important. They're not ordinary sessions. They're hard to get sessions. So please try your best to participate in all of them and make it about you and your KPIs. I'm sure you know what the KPI is. It's fundraising, right? So the whole goal at the end of the day is that whatever you sit in should have like a clear outcome for you and your business. So Dr. Roche Mamabolo, let me hand over to you to introduce yourself to the cohort. And we do have some colleagues just attending on Facebook for the broader audience, but this is an invite-only session. So we'll keep it at that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you hear me? I just want to get a sense of, am I audibly now?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you. I think we're good. The guys can give you a thumbs up as well. Guys, there's a thing that you press there and you say, yeah, look, we can hear you. Yeah, so we just make this interesting. Yeah, so welcome and good morning.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much, Tegeri. You are far too kind. I think I just shared ideas and you and your team ran with them. And basically, you have done such an amazing job of building, getting the ecosystem up and going. So yeah, congratulations to you and your team, and also to the entrepreneurs in the program. Congratulations for making the program. So my name is Roche Mamabolo. I'm based in Pretoria. I'm an accountant by profession, and started practicing a while ago, and then left the practice because I was dying balancing books. It was not that exciting anymore. And then I pivoted into entrepreneurship. I did my master's in business administration and my PhD in entrepreneurship 6 years ago. So I'm very passionate about the space. I run an entrepreneurship academy since 2016. We have been running quite a number of programs, entrepreneurship programs, startups, scaling, leadership programs, and we also do mentorship and coaching as well. So it's, we are immersed in the space. I must have so far in the past 15 years or so of being in the space, I must have roughly mentored about 200 or more entrepreneurs in different sectors, different industries. I'm part of the mentors at the Innovation Hub in South Africa. So yeah, I love the space. I'm very passionate about the space. I've learned so much from other entrepreneurs. I'm looking forward to learning from you as well. I've started businesses as well. I'm not just an academic. I've started businesses. I've bankrupted businesses. I have sold other businesses. I was not, I outgrew them. I decided to sell them. So I'm, in most instances, I'm more of an entrepreneur. And I always say to guys that academia found me on the entrepreneurship journey. So I'm very passionate. I'm looking forward to learning from you and sharing my insights as well. So please feel free to ask questions. If you struggle with certain areas in your business, please feel free to. We'll have a discussion later on, and you are more than welcome to feel free to share your insights or even your lessons. The smartest person in the room is not a person, it's the room, because it's able to bring all of us together. So we are able to learn from each other. So I'm looking forward to the session. There's quite a lot to cover. So when Tegere briefed me in terms of what the mandate should be, I thought, let me rather start with what we usually do with our students who are growing their businesses. We have had some of our students who came in as startups, and today they're running over 50 million revenue turnover businesses, and they're still growing by now. So I'm hoping that it's quite a lot of content as a masterclass. So I'll be throwing quite a lot of content at you. And I'm hoping that Tegere will make the recording available thereafter. But if you miss something, you're able to go back and watch the video. So that's basically who I am and what I've basically been able to. I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can see. So this is a program, part of a program that we give to our students at the Laura Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So we have like a 4-month growth, we call it a venture strategic growth program. And we touch on quite a number of aspects on how to grow your business. And this is just one of the sessions in there, but it's usually our sessions are 3 hours, 4 hours. So I'm gonna try to sort of take some of the slides out. I'm gonna try and speak to the 1 hour, 30 minutes. My understanding is I should be done by 10:30, but I'm gonna try and finish before 10:30 so that we can have a discussion as well. So why is this important? Why is growing your business important? For a number of reasons. You grow the impact, you grow your revenue, you're able to create more jobs, you're able to contribute to the taxes of the country. And as you grow your business, your community benefits through the solutions that you provide. but also because you are an ambitious person. You want to grow this thing because you don't want to just have a lifestyle business. In other words, you don't just want to have a business that will just pay for your salary and pay for your rent. You want to have a business that is going to scale up, that is going to be more impactful. And of course, in the process, you'll make more money. It doesn't hurt to make more money in the process, but you want to scale up. The challenge, though, with scaling up is often as entrepreneurs, we tend to think that businesses will scale, organically. They will just scale by themselves. It's sort of like we are saying, if I'm in standard 1 this year, next year I'll be in standard 2, and the year after I'll be in standard 3. So we tend to assume that business growth has got that tendency to say, this year we are here, next year we are going to be there, and the year after will be bigger than the year before. And it doesn't happen by chance. You need to plan the growth of your business, especially if you are in the technology space. You need to plan the growth of your business. It's not going to happen by osmosis. It's not going to happen by chance. You need to be intentional about the growth of your business. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, if you don't plan the growth of your business, you are going to find a situation where the business grows so fast to a point where you lose control of the business. So you want to be in a situation where you are intentional about the growth of your business, but you don't let the growth of your business run away with you. Because if growth happens to you, there's a high likelihood that you will not be able to manage. You want to grow the business intentionally. You want to drive the business growth and plan it. And not let growth happen to you, because when growth happens to you, you're going to find yourself out of debt. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and in the process of making a lot of mistakes, you are going to damage the brand that you're building. And we have seen quite a lot of businesses that actually die when they try to grow. They take too many orders. They don't have enough cash to fulfill those orders. And as a result, customers become disillusioned and they walk away. You take too many orders, you don't have enough team of people within your organization to execute the order. So what you find that you as a startup owner, you spend most of your time doing the work, and the fatigue sets in, there's mistakes, quality is compromised in the process, because you have not built enough capacity to fulfill the orders. You have a situation where you are a startup of 3 or 4 people, everything is going well, everybody's happy, but then suddenly your orders double or triple, and now you need to have 10 more people into the organization, and it becomes chaos because you don't have systems and processes in your business to deal with 10, 15, 20 employees. And as a result, you have all these things, it's just chaos management in the organization. So growth is very tricky. We all want it. We all want to see our businesses grow, but often we are not ready for growth, because once it comes, we find that we're not ready. We don't have capacity. We don't have financial resources. We don't have a competent team. We don't have systems and processes. We don't have a culture. It finds us in a position where we're not ready for growth. And what then happens inevitably is that we then, because we are hungry to grow, we take all this orders, even though we're not ready. And what happens, it collapses the little systems that we have. If you're into IT, for instance, and you're building a software, and suddenly you have too many requests and orders coming through, you find that your system or your infrastructure crashes. And that's what happens in business. If you're not ready and you take too many orders coming through, your business systems or your startup environment is going to crash. So it's important to plan your growth and be intentional about it, and start coming up and implementing the phases of how you're going to grow your business. So So I've seen quite a lot of examples of businesses that actually went bankrupt when they tried to grow. So you find that as a startup, it has been running for 5 years, small team of people, product is stable, everything is okay. But suddenly when they try and scale up their business, chaos happens, more orders coming through, there's not enough culture built in the organization, and the whole thing crumbles down. You don't have enough reserves, for instance, to fulfill the orders, and everything crumbles down. So it's important to plan the growth of your business. So we're going to go through all these 12 things, scaling up canvas, but in the scale up canvas, you're going to deal with customer segment, value proposition channels, customer care, not case, revenue stream, key resources, key partners, key activities, customers, and then we'll conclude. So if you have done a business model canvas, what we are going to do today is similar to a business model canvas, but this canvas was for a scale-up business. So the structure of a business model canvas is the same, but what we put in those elements of a business model canvas are not that of a startup. They are of a company that's ready to grow. So we are basically saying we have a product, we have a team of people. Now we have started selling, and now let's change gears from gear 1, 2, and let's move to gear 4, 5, and let's rev up the car and let the business grow. And the scale up canvas is pretty much a second phase to a business model canvas. So I mean, like any other canvas, it's on a one page, right? It's on a canvas. So the idea is we want to see how our business will look like when it grows, when it scales, right? Which component or which aspect of this business do we need to be careful of? Where do we have capacity? Where do we lack capacity? What are the things that we still need to build? What are the things that we still need to beef up? And to what extent do we do certain things? Are we ready for certain things? Maybe not. Maybe let's take it slow. So the idea is by the time we are done with this session, you are able to see the operation of your business on one page. And I always say to people that, to our students, that there's a difference. There's a huge, huge difference between having a product or having an amazing product and having an amazing business, right? So you have a product that you have worked on, and the product, for you to manufacture the product, it costs you 10 Pula, for instance. And you go out there and you sell this product at 15 Pula, and you make 5 Pula profit. Great, we are happy, you are happy, the market is happy. But don't confuse a profitable product with a profitable business. The two are not the same. You can have a profitable product and have a bankrupt business because your business model is not accurate. So it's very easy for entrepreneurs, and I see this happen quite a lot, where entrepreneurs misunderstand and they confuse having a profitable product with having a profitable business. The profitable product is a starting point, right? The fact that you're able to sell this product at 15 Pula and it costs you 10 Pula to manufacture, right? It does not mean that this here is a business, right? It doesn't mean that a profitable product is a business. There's quite a lot of other things that you need to consider for you to be able to build a profitable business. And that's what the difference is, right? There's a product and there's a business. And the idea with the scale-up canvas is to say, how do we build this business that's ready to take off and grow? Because ultimately, that's what is important. That's the end game. The end game is not a profitable product. The end game is a profitable scaling business, right? So you start with the product. So the profitable product is the starting point, but it's not the end point. The end point is a growing business. That's the end point. But well done, congratulations, you've got a product and this product is profitable. But this is just the beginning. as Jeff Bezos will say, this is just day one, right? You are still at day one. You have not moved. You are still, excited. You are still anxious. You are still hopeful that this thing will convert into a profitable business, because that's the end goal. So the idea of today's session is to really look at this business as a whole, as to how this business is going to look like. And of course, we are not going to let the success of the business to luck. Luck is not a strategy. Because I often hear entrepreneurs say, no, I've got a product and I'm going to work so hard, and I hope that at some point this product will convert into a business, right? Hope is not a strategy. Luck is not a strategy. You want to be intentional about building your business. Don't let the success of your business hinge on luck, right? We want to be intentional about this. We want to build it. We want to put all the right nuts and bolts together and build this thing going forward. Again, it's on a canvas, on a one page, and the idea is we are going to put all these elements on one page, right? If you have done a business model canvas for a startup, you'll be familiar with the structure, right? And all these elements are what you need to complete when you are a startup, right? Customer segments, value proposition, channels, customer care, revenue model, right? All these things are for a startup business. We are taking this to the next level. We are not taking this as, okay, you've got this for a startup. How then do we scale this business? How then do we take it to the next level? And of course, it's 9 building blocks to your canvas, but we are going to focus on a scale up canvas. And this is how it looks like, right? What's the value proposition, customer relationship, channels, revenue stream, and customer segment. So we usually start on the right of your canvas, right? You start on the right of your canvas, and then we move to the left. What are your key resources? What are your key activities? Who are your key partners? And what does your cost structure looks like? So when you do a business model canvas for a startup, this is what you do. We are going to go through a scale-up canvas for a business that's growing. So we start with customer segment. I mean, there's 2 schools of thoughts. Other people start with value proposition. I choose to start with customer segment. Why? Because I believe if you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. It's as simple as that, right? That's why for me, the number one thing is, yes, I see the product, the cool product. It's got all these features, it's amazing, but who's paying for this? If there's no one paying for this, this is just a hobby. We're just doing it to kill time, right? There has to be somebody who's going to pay for it. And the mistake that I see a lot of, especially technology entrepreneurs make, is that they build the product and they go and look for customers. And they try and push their product to the customers. That's not the right way to build a business. The right way to build a business is to start with the customers. Ask them, find out what their frustrations are, right? Spend more time with the customer. Have your pulse on your customers, hand, and hear and feel what is their frustration, what is their hopes and dreams, what are their fears, what is it that they struggle with. And then having understand that, you then reverse engineer and build the product, right? So what entrepreneurs do is they build the product and go and say, okay, I've got this product, I'm going to look for customers. It doesn't work that way. How it works is, what do customers want? Spend time with them, and then reverse and come back and build the product in accordance with what the customers want, right? So I start with customer segment, because for me, without customers, there's no business, really, right? Who are your customers? Do you know who they are? What are the demographics? Where are they? What are the spending patterns? So when you do a business model canvas for a startup, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Who are these people? How much do they earn? Where do they spend their time most, in a week, in a month? How do they behave? And in you understanding that, you are then able to build a product that is going to talk to them. If you know that these people earn their salaries at the 31st, it means you need to make sure that in you building the product, you are able to have enough stock for the 31st, because you can't run out of stock when your customers are getting paid. If these are pensioners, for instance, you can't want to market your business on social media. Pensioners are not tech savvy. They don't spend most of their time on social media. If your customers are students, they don't earn a salary. So your pricing needs to be sensitive to how much they earn. So it starts your business, the design of your product, the design of your business is highly, highly dependent on your customers. Without customers, all these things is just an academic exercise. So it starts with that. Who are they? Where are they? How do they spend their money? What are their frustrations and all those. But because you're no longer starting up, you have a minimal viable product. The question is, is this product, are you happy with the minimum viable product? Is it signed off? Have you sold this to a couple of customers, right? Are people paying for this? On the innovation timeline, where are you? Are you at the innovators, early adopters, or have you crossed the chasm, as Jeffrey Morgan would say? And are you now at the early majority? Where are you in that space? So it's important to sort of look at the customers that you have as a startup, right? As an innovator. Those customers are not necessarily the same as the customers in the early majority. They're not the same. The customers that you have as an innovator are likely people who are early adopters, people who are tech savvy. They like trying out new things and breaking things. These are the customers that are patient. They're willing to give you feedback. They're patient to try this thing out. And if it doesn't work, they're able to give you feedback. Those customers are completely different from the early majority. Customers, if you are scaling up your business and you're talking to 200 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people, 20,000 people don't have the patience to be trying your product. And if it breaks, they give you feedback and whatever. 20,000 customers, if your product fails, they switch it off and they move to something else. Early adopters and innovators, people who are early adopters, they will give you the feedback. They'll be patient to say, no, change here, fix here, come back, let me see, right? So you need to understand that the customers that you have as a startup, as an innovator, you might have 50 customers who are patient. Some of them might be your friends. Some of them might be people who are tech junkies. They love trying new things and they'll try your product and they're patient, and they're not people who are going to badmouth you to everyone else because they love new things. But it's important to understand where you are in this old timeline. Now, before you start scaling up your business, you need to make sure that the product itself is signed off. It's ready for takeoff, right? So you need to ask yourself, am I still at idea, prototype phase, or am I now ready to jump across the chasm, as Jeffrey Morgan would say, cross the chasm into the element? Are you ready for the masses? And I think that's the question to put it bluntly. Are you ready for the masses? Don't cross the chasm if the product is not stable, right? Don't cross the chasm if you don't know who the early majority are, right? Who are these people? I mean, if I'm going to serve 20,000 customers, who are they? What are their fears? What are their frustrations? What are their salaries? How do they earn? When do they earn? How much do they earn? And all this kind of thing. Because it's quite going to be very daunting for you to serve this customer than it's easy for you to serve 20 customers. So you need to understand this market, understand who these people are, understand how they behave, understand that can you service, is your product stable enough to deal with this market, right? So it's important to have that at the back of your mind to say, yes, I think my product is ready. Yes, I think my team is ready. Yes, we understand who these people are. We understand what frustrates them. We understand what inspires them. And that's important to understand. Selling to 20 people is different to selling to 20,000 people. Do you know these 20,000 people? And by knowing them, I don't mean knowing them intimately, but do you understand their psychology? Do you understand these people are impatient? Are you ready for harsh criticism on Facebook, on Twitter? Are you ready for the backlash that they're going to give you? Because they are merciless. Unlike the 20 customers that you're saving, these guys are merciless. They don't care, right? So are you ready? Are you emotionally ready for that? Because that's going to be the game that you're entering into, right? You're going to have a backlash. Mark Zuckerberg is having nightmares now because the whole world is revolting. They're asking questions. You know, Cambridge Analytica is coming back and saying, you are selling our private information. It's a whole worldwide backlash, right? 1 minute he was a hero, all right, front cover of Time magazine and all those things, because at the time he was still a startup. Now he's no longer a startup, he's a big organization, and this is the type of customers that we're dealing with. It's quite different from building a product for campus students to building a product for the global market. Completely different. Now you need to understand that as you're transitioning the business to a scale-up business, you are entering into a completely different market. And you need to understand that market, right? And the product might pivot and take different shapes. So it's important to understand that, right? And how is the product itself? You know, is it stable? Is it a product that it has got enough features for the market? So I mean, you can imagine you are building a product for Botswana market, right? People are paying in Pula, for instance, and you're happy the product is, you're okay with that. You understand the psyche of Botswana, they're very patient, the monohela, nothing is really stressing us, right? And if it breaks, people will forgive you, they'll come back, they'll support you, because buy local, support local, right? So they'll do that. But once you start scaling up, you're now crossing the borders. You're outside Botswana, you're in South Africa, you're in Uganda, and all those. You are now in other continents. People out there are merciless, and they don't have the buy local mentality. Is this serving my purpose? Is this solving my problem? Is the product stable enough? When you start getting feedback from out there, are you ready for that type of feedback? Is the product now have a functionality for other currencies out there, right? Are you ready for when complaints come through? You have enough capacity to deal with that. So crossing the chasm from an innovator to an early majority is something that you really need to take seriously, because if you don't, you might actually find yourself in a position where you actually end up collapsing the business. So getting into an early majority, it's important that you understand that the two customers that you have now and the ones that you're going to have are two different things. So once you understand the customers that you have, now let's look at the value proposition that you're offering. Is this product stable? You know, is this product ready for 200,000 customers? Is it not going to crash? You know, so it's important to understand the value that you give to your customers, right? Workout, for instance. Currently, I'm saving 50 customers. That's the first version of the product. The first version of the product is phase 1 of the product is 50 customers. Phase 2 of the product, it might be that we are saving 200 customers. Phase 3 of the product might be that we're saving 2,000 customers. Why do you need to have this phase? Because phase 1 is focused on local market. It's focused on Botswana. It's focused on Botswana who are paying in local currency in Pula. Phase 2 is we are now taking this product to internet. We're now rolling this product out in South Africa. So in our functionality, we are adding rand, for instance, right? Because that's phase 2, because we are now rolling it out to a bigger market. Phase 3 is we are rolling out to the rest of the continent. Now we are adding dollars, conversion, and all this kind of thing. So it's important, colleagues, that as you grow the business, ensure that you've got a stable product. You've got a product that is not going to break down when more people come through. You know those instances where websites fail. I mean, people talk about there's a World Cup coming and the sales will be online, and they launch the platform. On the day of within 30 minutes or an hour, the whole website crashes because there's too many people who are coming through who wants to buy tickets. So you don't want that for your product. You don't want a situation where you launch this thing, you go big, and the next thing it crashes. I mean, I mean, you have experienced it now recently with Facebook. Um, with Facebook when their database crashed a few weeks ago. It was a nightmare globally. It was a nightmare globally. In fact, what then happened is other people started migrating. Those who have always wanted to leave Facebook for security reasons have decided to say, that's it. I need to move away from it. Those who are using WhatsApp said, that's it. I'm going to try another platform, for instance. And when you have when the product crashes and you have millions of people relying, you want to be very careful that as you scale up the product, right, the product is stable, right, and that's why it's important as you're scaling it up, you don't just leave the scaling up of your product to chance to say I'm just going to make so much noise out there, and the next thing 20,000 people come. You are not ready for 20,000 people, right? And what that does is it does more damage to the brand. So you want to be systematic, you want to be intentional about how you're going to grow the product. You start with 50 users, then you move on to 100, then you move on to 1,000. And if the product is stable with 1,000, you can then try and say, okay, let's push this thing to 20,000 and let's see how it behaves. So it's important that as you are building the product, you don't want to build a Rolls Royce all at the same time. You want to build it through phases. As you roll out the product, you have these phases that you're rolling out. I mean, I'm mentoring an entrepreneur currently who does honey, for instance. And it's an amazing product. I usually buy products that of my mentees. So I buy the product, I love it. It's quite amazing. And it's, the packaging is great. But the packaging lacks certain things. And I'm saying to him, if you are going to sell this to the masses want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the packaging. You don't have SABS, stamp of approval. You don't have nutritional value. When I buy this product, I want to know what is in the product, right? You don't have, for instance, it doesn't have expiry date for the product. So I can, because I'm an early adopter, I like trying new things. I can forgive them, right? But if you're going to put this in retail stores, right? Retail stores are going to be asking those questions. Where's the SABS approval? Where's the nutritional value? Where's the expiry date, right? How long is this product? Can it stay on the shelf? Usually it's 60 days. Is this product compliant with 60-day shelf life, right? Those type of things. So if you don't have those type, it means your product is not ready for the masses. So you need to start looking at, is this product ready for the masses? What are the questions that the masses are going to ask? If I'm rolling this out, do I have a FAQ, frequently asked questions, so that when the masses have these questions, or they can easily go there and look at this thing. Remember, colleagues, you're not selling to your early adopters who can forgive you or forgive the mistakes. You're selling to the masses. You are scaling this up to a bigger audience. And the audience asks questions. They're merciless. They're unforgiving because this is their money. And if you're going to waste their time, you know what? They're going to go and give you bad reviews. And in fact, they're going to even tell other people about your product that it's not good enough. So you need to sort of be ready to say, yes, my minimum viable product works. Yes, it solves the problem, right? Yes, it's market ready, right? Often what we do as tech entrepreneurs, we often say, does it solve the problem, right? So we call it problem solution fit. Yes, it solves the problem. Great, I'm going to then sell this thing, right? The next test is not because it solves the solution, there's a product market, there's a product solution fit, then it's ready for the market. You still need to do a product market fit, right? You need to test if this is ready for the market, right? The honey that I have of my mentee, for instance, I love the honey. It solved the problem, right? I love it. But is this product ready for the masses, for the market? No, it's not ready for the market. It's not just good enough that it solves the problem, but it also needs to be market fit, right? So there's two tests that you need to bear in mind. There's a product solution fit, which is what most tech entrepreneurs do. They have a product solution fit, right? They still then need to do a product market fit, right? Is this product ready for the market? right? Yes, it solves the problem, but is it ready for the market? Right. So it's important to look at that. So traditional businesses often they grow by adding more people, but that's not how you want to grow your business, right? If you find yourself in a situation where you work with 5 people and there's more orders coming through, and in order for you to fulfill more orders, you need to employ 20 people. That's not scaling up, right? Because the net effect is the same. Your cost structure increases, your revenue increases, the bottom line is the same. If you are in a technology space, as you get more customers coming through, you want to be able to fulfill the orders with the same amount of capacity that you have. And that's what technology does. It gives you that leverage, right? Facebook has got over, I don't know how many users, billions, right, of users, nobody. But Facebook as a company has about less than, I'm willing to bet, less than 1,000 employees, or even less than 500 employees. That's the scaling up that I'm talking about. You are able to reach more people with a very minimal cost structure, right? When Facebook bought WhatsApp at 16 billion, right? At the time, WhatsApp was employing less than 50 people, less than 50 people. A company that's worth 16 billion was having a team of people less than 50. And that's what I'm talking about, that you want to come up with you want to be able to say, I'm going to grow to 20,000 customer base, but I'm going to keep my capacity, my team lean. And that's what scaling up means. But if you find yourself that you are increasing your revenue and your cost structure increases in direct proportion, that's not the scaling up that I'm talking about. So you need to start thinking around those, right? And you need to ask yourself, where is your product? Is your product still at early adopters, or is your product at middle ground, or is your product ready for mass adoption, right? Be very careful, colleagues, when you go for mass adoption, right? It needs to work. If it doesn't work, it's going to be rejected. And when it gets rejected, it's going to do a whole brand damage to your product. So is your product signed off? Are you ready with it? Is it stable, right? Is the product ready for scaling, right? Is the product tested? Do you need some accreditation, some certification, for instance? Because some products, if you're going to go for the masses, right, if you're going to start selling to other corporates and other entities or other organizations, what's key for them is this ISO compliant, right? So you're not talking to 20 people who are saying, I don't care if it's not ISO compliant. If you're going to the masses, I mean, DJ Spoo, one of the things when he launched Morfire, the question was, is this SABS approved? He could have sold it to his own friends and colleagues. They wouldn't have asked those questions. But once you start going to the masses, they start asking questions, is this thing SABS approved? We are drinking some, and especially if people are taking something into their body, they need to be asking themselves, is this SABS approved? What's inside this thing? Is there nutritional value where it tells us this is how much sugar content is in there and all this kind of thing? So once you start scaling up, you need to be answering this question, right? What is required of my product in the bigger market, right? Or am I answering all those questions? Am I ready to take my product to the bigger market, right? So as I've spoken about it, there's product solution fit, right? Finding a problem with solving and coming up with a minimum viable product. And then there's product market fit. In other words, there's a customer validation, which is very important, because if you don't have product market fit or customer validation, don't even think about scaling, right? So you need to be asking yourself, you need to prove there's a problem. You need to prove your solution solves the problem. You need to prove that the customers will pay for this. And if you can prove those three, then you can scale, right? You can then look at looking at more customers. So product solution fit, are you solving a problem? Is this the problem that people are willing to have a solution to, right? And this is what we do. We take our students through what we call a value proposition campaign. So we go in detail into who are the customers, what are their pains, what are their frustrations, what are they looking for? Is your product, right, relieving those pains? What are those pains that your product is relieving? What are those gains that your product is creating? So we do this, we go in detail into this canvas, but it's important to have what we call a product solution fit and a product customer or market fit, right? And then you start with understanding the problem, define the solution, craft the offer or the minimum viable product, and then build the solution. And then you are able to scale it. Product market fit, here it's important, again, to understand the market, right? A value hypothesis identifies the feature that you need to build, right? And which is important, the audience that's likely to care, and the business model required. And I like the third bullet point. A great team, right, meets a lousy market, the market wins, right? When a great team meets a lousy market, the market wins. When a lousy team meets a great market. So here, right, the market wins all the time. You want to be able to say, do I understand the market? Am I giving the market what they want? That's very important. The market wins all the time, not your product, not your great team, not your business, the market. The market wins all the time. So it's important to have what we call product market fit, right? If you address the market that really wants your product, if the dog eats the dog food, then you succeed. It's the dog that determines if the dog food is good enough. Not you, not your team. It's the market, it's the dog that says, I love this. So it's important to understand that is this product market ready. So you can tell whether you do or don't have a product market fit, right? You can always feel when your product is not market fit. Customers are not getting value for it. Word of mouth is not spreading. Usage is not growing. Press reviews are just blah. They're okay. The sales cycles take too long and lots of deals never come to close, right? So here you know that something is wrong, right? There is no product market fit. Yes, it's got the product. Yes, the product solves the solution, but the product is not taking off. Why? Because you don't have a product market fit. And this is how you know that you don't have a product market fit. How do you know that you have a product market fit? Customers are buying the product just as fast as you make it. You are inundated with orders. Usage is growing. Money from customers is piling up into your bank account. You're hiring sales and customer support staff. Your journalists are calling in. You start getting Entrepreneur of the Year awards. And investment bankers are coming up and offering you all. You know, you can't even eat free. You could eat free, right, at your favorite hotel because this thing is taking off. Then you know that you've got what we call a product market fit, right? So it's important that you look at it. And again, it's not about selling first, right? It's not about who's first in the market. We can all of us be first in the market. But what's important is who's got the best product market fit. And a classic example would be the search engine. We know that Yahoo was the first in the search engine, right? Google came in, Google understood the product market fit far more than Yahoo. Google said we need to build a search algorithm that's faster, that brings better results. And that's what they did. They understood what the market wanted, right? And at the moment, Google owns about 60% of the search engine market share. So it's not about being the first. It's about understanding the market fit. Facebook was not the first, but Facebook understood the product market fit. Quite a number. I mean, Malcolm Gladwell, in one of his books, he talks about you don't want to be the first, right? You want to be the first that understands the product market fit, not the first that introduces the product, right? The first that understands the product market fit, right? So you will find that you understand the product solution fit, but what's important is understand the product market fit so that you are able to scale, right? If you can't scale if there's no product market fit, right? So that's the second. The third, we understand the customer segment. We understand that if we are to serve 20,000 customers, we need to have a different psychology. We understand the product. We understand where the product is in terms of development. Is it signed off? Is it ready for the masses? We understand that, right? Now, how then do we take this product to 20,000 customers? So this is the channel. How do we communicate with 20,000 people? It's easy to communicate with 20 people. How do we communicate with 20,000? How do we service 20,000 customers, right? What channel are we using to service 20,000 customers. So in other words, how do we take this value that we have, this product market fit product that we have, how then do we take it to and roll it out to 20,000 users? And how do we deal with 20,000 or maybe not even the 2,000 complaints that are going to come back? Or how do you deal with 2,000 questions that are going to come back? Because there are going to be some form of questions coming through, especially if the product is new, right? How do we use this? Do we have a troubleshoot? Do we have a video that shows how to download this thing? Do you have all those things? Because once you start talking to 20,000 customers, you need to beef up your channels. You need to beef up your distribution channel. You need to beef up your communications channel. Right. So how are you taking the product to the masses? And here, the number one important thing when you're crossing the chasm, when you're now getting to 20,000 customers, is to secure a distribution channel into the mainstream market, right? And one that is one with which the pragmatic customer will be comfortable with. So here's a classic example. You have self-published authors, right? They write this amazing book, you know, and they launch the book. And suddenly, you know, word of mouth gets around. Oh, Mama, Tigre wrote a book, right? It's an amazing book on startups in Botswana, blah, blah, blah. Great. There's a demand for the book. Tigre doesn't have a distribution channel. So how does Tigre distribute the book? You have to call Tigre, you have to send him an email, he sends you back the banking details, and you have to pay, send the address, and then Tigre is going to go and courier the book to you. So he can do that with 20 customers. He certainly won't do that with 20,000 customers. There is just no way that he's going to do that type of a structure with 20,000 customers. Now, Tigre needs to now start thinking, how do I build a distribution channel? Which means, who can take my books faster, more efficient to my customers, right? Without a lot of bottlenecks. So Tigre now needs to start doing research, finding out courier organizations, finding out how do they work, how long does it take, or even better, how about we open storage facilities in Kasane, in Francistown, in Maung, and we send the book in those storage facilities. If someone in Kasane orders the book leaves the storage to the person same day. How about we even open bookstores in those areas? It's even far much easier. People can buy the book there. Now you need to start thinking differently, because it's not just, okay, I'm scaling this up from 20 customers to 20,000 customers, and the distribution channel that I was using for 20 customers is the same as 20,000. It can't be. You're going to find that as 20,000 customers order your books, Mr. T, you're going to take forever to get the books to be delivered to the customer. There's going to be frustration. They're going to be calling, my book has not arrived. You know, it's just it's a nightmare of administration doing this. So you need to start thinking of how do you then scale this up to others and make it as efficient as possible. Facebook has got offices in most of the countries. There's Facebook office in Africa, right, where the CEO of Facebook Africa deals with the issues that are facing users in Africa. I'm sure there's a head office or an office in Europe, Facebook in Europe. That's the distribution channel, right? Even though you are distributing this online, but you have people on the other side who are able to take complaints or who are able to take issues and address those issues on site. So it's important to think of the distribution channel. It's not just having a product, but it's how are you taking the product to 50,000 customers? Are you opening new branches? Are you franchising this out? Maybe you don't want to be responsible for the cost of opening other branches. Maybe you decide, you know what, I'm going to structure this as a franchise, and I'm going to give it to other people, and it's their responsibility to look after it. You have scaling marketing campaigns. You're taking it to the masses. How are you going to market this business to the masses? Are you creating more awareness, activation, retention, referral specials, right? So it's important that you are able to come up with a distribution channel that is going to talk to the masses, not just 20 people, right? So again, you know, how is this? Do you have resellers? Do you have agents, right? If you're a manufacturer, there's a whole process. Are you, as a manufacturer, selling to the retailer, up to the wholesaler selling to the retailer, or and the retailer is selling to the end user? Or are you selling to the retailer and then the retailer sells to the end user? Or are you directly selling to the end user? Which distribution channel are you using here? So it's important to understand what channel are you somebody who your product is, you know, hitting straight to the customers? Are you a B2C or are you a B2B? Right? So understand the distribution, especially when the business is growing. It might be that as a startup, you are a B2C, right? You deal with the customer. But maybe as the business grows, you might want to be a B2B. You might have other layers of people who are taking charge of this thing. So at Laura, for instance, when you scale up the campus, we open another campus in another town, for instance. I'm not going to be the one going there and giving classes in Rustenburg, for instance, or in Cabron. I can't do that, right? I need to then get someone who's going to give those classes there. The distribution channel changes suddenly, right? So it's important to understand the distribution channel, right? How do you deliver your product or your service to 3 clients, to 30 clients, to 20,000 clients? So it's important to look at that. And people who are doing this quite well is Amazon, right? Amazon, I know they're opening a warehouse in South Africa, for instance. But before that, they had a very good distribution channel where they partnered with Korean organizations, right? Suddenly, now what they are doing is they're opening warehouses in other parts of the continent as a way of strengthening their distribution channel. So you need to start thinking of how are you going to scale up your distribution channel, right? Coca-Cola, they've got trucks. You know, Coca-Cola is one of my clients, and I was actually working with their owner drivers as part of their entrepreneurship development. They can get a product anywhere in the continent. They say Coca-Cola can get, you can find Coke or a Coca-Cola product at every corner of the world. That's a very strong distribution. And I've seen this live, how they do this. It's an operation on its own. It's mind-blowing when you are inside the depot and you see all the trucks going out at 3 a.m., at 4 a.m. It's just something else, right? So how do you intend to get your product to the masses? What is your distribution channel? You need to start thinking of that, because what's going to happen is the 20,000 customers are going to place an order, and it's going to take forever for them to get the product. Some of them are going to cancel the order. You know, you go to a restaurant, you order food, you are hungry. You go to a restaurant, you order food. It takes an hour for the food to come through. By the time the food comes, you are so flabbergasted, right? You are so flabbergasted, you're upset. You're not going to even enjoy the food because the distribution channel took forever, right? So you want to make sure that the distribution channel is efficient and it responds very quickly to any issue. Also, your marketing, all right? You need to have multi-channel marketing. You're talking to the masses, right? Are you using social media? Are you using radio, right? What other channels are you using to communicate to your customers? What channels are your customers using to communicate back to you? Right? Do you have those channels where if I want to complain, if I want to give feedback, what channels do I use? And then number 4, customer relationships. It's very important because now you're dealing with 20,000 customers. It's very, very important that you build some form of a relationship with those. You've got 20,000 database of 20,000 customers, right? Do you have a way that you deal with feedback, right? Are you using a CRM tool, for instance? Is there a way that you are able to compensate customers who have been using your product for longer, right? Do you have loyalty points? Do you have loyalty cards and all these things? Because what you're trying to do, what Uber is doing, and I know because there's now new competitors, there's DD, there's Bolt, there's all these other guys who are coming through. What they are doing, they're saying, If you refer someone to us, we'll give you 30 rand free ride, or we'll give you one free ride worth 70 bucks, for instance. That's the type of customer relationships that they are building. If it's your birthday, for instance, do I get a special? I buy quite a lot of books. So I'm part of a loyalty club with exclusive books. So I accumulate, the more books I buy, I accumulate points. And at some point, I'm going to get a free book. If it's my birthday, I get a voucher. Do you have those things? Because those are the things that keeps your customers, coming back. You are building a relationship with your customers. What you want to avoid doing is you want to avoid having what I call a smash and grab approach to customers. So you don't want to, the only time you talk to your customers is when they buy, right? That's a smash and grab. You want to be able to build a relationship. And how do you build a relationship with 20,000 customers? You automate their details, you get their details, you send them specials. When it's their birthday, you send them birthday specials. If it's Valentine's Day, you send them Valentine's specials. Black Friday, you send them Black Friday specials. You are building a relationship with them, right? Because anything wrong happens and you don't have that relationship with your customers, they can likely desert your business. So CRM, you need to start planning on that. And then obviously revenue streams. How are you going to bring money, right? Are you maximizing your revenue streams, right? So how are you growing your revenue stream? So it's very important that you're able to say, I'm no longer B2C, I'm B2B. How do I then streamline my revenue streams with other corporates, for instance? So start thinking along those lines. Is your sales process automated? If I want to buy something from you, is it automated? Can I buy something from you without having to call? Can I use your service? Is it easier? With most of these apps, you upload your banking details, for instance. Is it easier for me to upload my banking details on your app? So do you have those systems, sales systems ready and signed off? So you need to start thinking of those. Do I have a sales team? How do I compensate my sales team, right? I'm getting people to go out there and spread the word of mouth. They are bringing customers. Do I give them commission on the customers that they bring? How much of a percentage commission do I give them? Start thinking about those, right? Because if you're going to talk to 20,000 customers, you are not going to be able to take your product to 50,000 customers by yourself. You're going to need sales agents who are going to help you capture the details, upload the details, who are going to help you, answer questions from customers, who are going to help you address or educate some of the customers on how to use your product. So those are your sales agents. Have you worked out what your commission is going to be for them, right? So you need to master your sales funnel. What is the funnel? What is the process of selling your product to your customers? Very important, you want your acquisition costs to be lower, right? You don't want to be having your costs escalating as you bring more customers. So it's important to bear that in mind. So we have done customer segment, we've done value proposition, we have done channels, we have done customer relationships, we have done revenue streams. This part of your canvas, the right part of the canvas, is concerned with money coming into the business. This is how you make money. So when I ask you, let me look at your revenue model. Let me look at how this business is going to make money as it grows. I'm saying to you, basically, take me through the right side of your business model canvas. Because the right side of your business model of your scale-up canvas is concerned with money coming in, right? So I have 10 minutes to wrap up. So where are you going to spend your money, right, as you grow this business? And that's involved with the left part of your canvas. So firstly, key resources. As you're growing this business, you're going to spend some money. Do you have a capacity? Do you have infrastructure? Do you have a team of people that you're working with, right? Do you have capital? Do you have the physical infrastructure? You might need, machines. You might need laptops. You might need mainframes, whatever, right? Do you have intellectual capacity? right? Because maybe you might need to have more software engineers, more scientists. You might need to have sales agents, right? You might need to have people who are going to assist you with the operations of the business. So how much do those people cost, right? How much do they want? How much do they earn? How much do they cost? So you need to start thinking along those lines. As you are expanding your businesses, you're going to incur more costs. Draw up a list of your expansion costs, right? Do I buy this thing or do I rent it? Sometimes because this business is not yet solid, you might want to rent, right? So that you are able to consolidate your business and also be able to build some reserves. Buying, if the business is not consolidated, is too risky. What happens if the business doesn't take off, right? So look at those type of issues. Do I buy or do I rent? How will you finance the expansion? Are you taking debt? Are you taking equity? Are you getting grants from CEDA or LEA, or are you using the reserves? Maybe the business has got some little reserves that you are reinvesting back into the business. So key resources, absolutely important. One of the key resources that's going to be key is the people. In growing your startup, people make all the difference. It's the be all and end all. If you don't have a good team, you're going to find yourself struggling to grow your business. So you want to make sure that you have an amazing team of people, right? So start thinking along those lines. Scaling geographically, if you are a bricks and mortar type of a business, you're opening other, or you're partnering with other people, or you are using courier services or distribution networks, what are the costs of doing that? If you are an IT software and you open or you scale into, say for instance, you scale into South Africa, you need somebody here who's going to address those issues if there's issues. So what does that mean if I scale in other countries, right? I know that Tekere in Botswana, if there's an issue on LoRa, there are students and there's all these challenges, I can always say to the students, talk to Mr. T and he will address you and he will assist you, right? So scaling geographically, start thinking of what does it mean from a cost perspective, but also try and use electronic tools, right? Salesforce, Zoom, Google Docs, and all those kind of things as you scale the business, right? It's very important to plan out also, if you are doing franchises, where are those franchises going to be? Where are you going to start with a franchise or a branch? And how do you scale and move on to the next? Absolutely important, have capacity. As you scale up, make sure that you have capacity, you have the right team, you have the right tools and resources, and you have the right distribution channel. So it's very important that you work this out, because this is where you're going to spend most of the time. Activities also very important. Who is doing what? Who is responsible for what? As we are scaling this thing, somebody has to be responsible for sales. Somebody has to be responsible for customer care. Somebody has to be responsible for finances. We need to make sure that we recover the money as fast as we can, especially when you are growing the business. So finances are also very important. Who's doing what? What are the key resources? Are all these activities automated? Do we have systems and processes? And my next session, I will discuss with you how to build systems and processes. Are they documented? But is the team sufficiently trained on their key activities? Do we have the right skills in the team? Do they know what they are doing, right? If someone is not performing, do we have right processes to retrain them, or do we have right processes to fire them, right? Is the organizational structure signed off? Are the day-to-day activities to be performed for each department? Are we clear about those? Are they written down? Are they communicated to each member? Because once you start selling to 20,000 people, you might need to build a team of about 20, 30 people. Those people, when they come in, they need to know what's expected of them, right? They need to understand what activities they need to do. You don't want to be having crisis or chaos management in the organization. There are no proper systems, there are no proper processes, there are no proper job descriptions, we are behaving as if we are a bigger version of a startup. It doesn't work that way. You can get away with not having key activities if you are a three-man band, because there everybody does everything. We do this. As a startup, you do that. But as the business is growing, you need to show some professionalism, which means you need to start delegating responsibilities, and the business needs to have some departments. We are almost there. So do a skills gap, make sure that people are skilled. If there's skills shortage, try and find the right skills. And then number 8, who are we partnering with, right? We might need to partner with distribution organizations. We might need to partner with people who are going to host our servers on cloud. We might need to partner with people who are going to take care of our customers on the ground in another country. You need to identify who are your key partners. Colleagues, it takes a village to raise a business, right? So you are not going to do this by yourself. You're going to have to partner with other people. So who are those people, and what are they bringing on board, and what are you compensating them for the partnership? So you need to be quite clear about them. What are you, which areas, what collaborations are you coming up with? What model are you working with? Ensure that the strategic alliance agree on KPIs, right? Because you are not going to grow this business by yourself. You're going to need to partner with lawyers. You're going to need to partner with other people. Other countries have got demands. You need to partner with other people in those countries to ensure that you're not in trouble or you don't break the law, right? So understand the value chain, understand your delivery partners, logistics, warehousing, accounting, legal, all those things. Enter into MOUs if necessary, right? Build those relationships with people, right? You are going to need this to make your business scale much better. Then lastly, cost structure. What is this going to cost us, right? So it's important to sort of try and find out, come up with a budget. What additional costs are we going to incur? What are the acquisition costs? Work out the budget, right? Work out, if we are going a franchise, if we are going more a branch, whatever, work out the budget, right? It's important that you're able to do that. If you're going to have to buy equipment and assets, start working out on how are you going to raise the funding, right? So it's very important. Problems is if you don't have cash, you're going to choke. Without cash, it's going to be very difficult for the business to grow, right? So you need to have enough resources for you to be able to scale, right? If you scale too fast, you receive orders, right? Maybe some customers pay deposits, but you don't have enough to build the capacity. What you end up doing is you end up taking the customer deposit, you build capacity, and you don't have enough to execute the orders. And you find yourself in a position where you owe people and you have not even delivered. So it's very, very, very important. And we spoke about this. Businesses that scale are businesses that have what we call operating leverage. In other words, you are able to grow the business in such a way that your costs are maintained, right? On the left, this is not what scaling is. If your sales increase, the top graph, and your costs increase with the same ratio as your sales, that's not scaling up. On the right, that's what scaling up is, that you are able to scale your sales, grow your sales exponentially, but you're able to maintain your costs. That's what scalability means, right? That gap between your sales and your costs has to widen, not be the same, right? So you want to be able to do, and this is, for example, a Google profit and loss. As they're scaling up, the ratio of their sales is growing at an exponential rate than the cost. Their costs are growing at a linear rate, and that's what you want, right? So it's important, which means you also need to work out your funding. Where do you get the funding from, right? The biggest problem typically with ambitious entrepreneurs is they're undercapitalized. They don't have enough funding. So it's important to work out, am I going to get grants? Am I going to get loans? Am I going to get equity? Right? Work out what's suitable for your business. That's a scale up a canvas. right? We have went through it. Customer segment, value proposition, channels, customer relationship, revenue streams, right? Money coming into the business, the right side of your business model canvas. The left side of your business model canvas is money going out of the business. Key resources, we need to buy key resources. We need to know what we are doing, key activities. We need to partner with the right people, and we need to work out the cost structure, right? So it's important. So in conclusion, right, what you want is getting the right people is very important. Establish processes, right, that you need to have, right? But don't overdo it, right? As a startup CEO, stop trying to do everything by yourself. As the business grows, you need to have the right people coming through. Focus on execution, right? If there's a problem, solve it quickly. If there's an order, deliver quickly. If there's something, work on it quickly. As you're growing the business, execution becomes even far more important. Why? Because you have got a very impatient customers. The masses are very impatient. So execution becomes very, very critical. Technology as a driver, absolutely important, because you'll be able to reach 20,000 people, customers, with a very lean structure, because technology gives you that leverage. You are able to use technology to reach more people than if you are just using things manually. So leverage on technology. Again, be paranoid about execution. Execute, execute, execute. You need to get things done on time, every time, about everything. So execution is a huge priority. So, remove the mindset that sloppy product and execution is okay in the market. You are now entering into a territory where you're not going to have forgiveness. Your customers are unforgiving. So execution is very important. Excellence is critical, right? So if you want to read up more, Scaling Lean by Ash Moara, one of my favorites, Pablo Patidi, Sweat, Scale, and Sell, Crossing the Chasm by JP Moore, also one of my favorites, Scaling Up Corporate Startups, and obviously the Bible of Entrepreneurship, the E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Thank you so much. Okay, we have 10 minutes. Thank you so much. Can we discuss questions, comments? Mr. Chief?
Yeah, bro, Roche, this is so impressive and disruptive, right? Every time I listen to you, I learn something new, right? I just got reminded of the time after, like, when we just launched our first business in Francistown. I think you remember. And the first thing we did is we just scaled and we got nice offices. We were paying like 8,000, 10,000 pula a month, right? Within our burn rate in like 6 months, we were literally bankrupt. And then the next thing we went and set up in South Africa, right? We had a company in South Africa, and I had to call you. I'm like, hey, man, I'm about to go to jail, right? I'm owing people and I have to shut down this thing. And I just got on a plane and ran away and went to the US, right? And when I came back, I had to build from zero. And you advised me, right? You were still an infant, right? And this is the story that I see from here. And for those that know me personally, I mean, they get shocked about the way we have put in the hours, about the work that we've done. It's very hard. It's very hard to scale a business, right? And it just doesn't happen by luck. I like the fact that you said that, right? So I think the team that we have here, they are the spotlight. They are the guys with the vision to scale whatever they're building in Botswana into the rest of Southern Africa. And that's why we're running this program. So I want to hear from them, just what their perspective is. Some of us have bent our bridges. We know what it takes. If you want to chat with me, yeah, just buy me coffee and I might sit with you and tell you like the pitfalls and the true nature of what Roche actually just presented, right? Yeah, so let me just jump straight into the colleagues. And the hashtag is GEW21. Our corporate sponsor is Stanbic Bank, as you know, and it's all over the news, yeah? So yeah, and we've picked what we think is Botswana's next unicorns, right? So you're really privileged to be in this cohort, guys. The spotlight is on you because this platform is aiming to just precisely give you that spotlight and the structure to win, right? If one of you wins, if all of you fail, it's just an experiment for us, right? But we just want one to win, right? And the winning part is getting to the money, right? The impact is the profitability first. Everything else doesn't matter, right? How do you get to the money, right? And then how do you scale? So yeah, cool. Let's just jump straight into it. I see we've got, let me just pick colleagues because I know them, right? Yeah, but CD, she just won like the Orange Prize for Africa. She's a female. I'm picking her deliberately because, yeah, and congratulations to her. Like we just picked her because I think she's the future. She's the future in agri-tech in Botswana, right? We would like to like find out like what her perspective is on this quickly if she's got a question. But CD, do you want to just unmute and just like go ahead? Cool stuff.
Good morning, Mr. Roche. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was a lovely presentation that you just gave there. My question would be with regards to testing the product. You talked about how you start with testing at 50, then going on to 100. What's the time limit that you believe that a company should give themselves to test their product? Because as a startup, you mentioned how you can test the product and then you go to market and the product crashes. What's the period that you believe that is suitable for testing a product? Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, you can be afraid to launch because of that fear of a product crashing once it's in market. So what time period do you believe a startup should set aside for testing? Thank you.
So thanks for that. Thanks for that question. You know, I mean, I once was part of a startup. We wanted to do our own local version of Uber and Bolt and all these things. And we clubbed together, put money together. We called it Ride Africa or Africa Ride. And we bought off the shelf software from India. And so they customized it for us. We gave them the logo and everything. And I remember it was sort of like this time of the year. It was 5 years ago, but it was because we wanted to catch the December traffic. So they customized it for us, and then they gave us the product, and then we then said, okay, great, we go to market. So where do we start? We get the drivers to come, upload the software, and we start making noise out there, and people come through, and they start to request. And within a month, the product set back. So, and you know, with hindsight, you know, the Indian guys, they said, okay, we'll give you the product, and you have 30 days free support. 30 days free support, you have 30 days free support. So we then launched, we went 30 days because we are still trying to build customers, drivers, and all these things. It took forever to get to a sizable number. But there are no issues within 30 days, you know, because we don't have enough customers. After 30 days, when we start to have more customers, right, bugs starting to happen on the system, right? And now we go back to the guys to say, hey, there are bugs coming through. They said, well, it's after 30 days, you need to start paying us to fix this bug. You know, and we're like, oh, hold on, but, you know, within 30 days, we did not have enough customers for us to fully test these things to have bugs. And we realized that actually these guys were smart. They actually outsmarted us. They gave us 30 days free support because they know that it takes more than 30 days to actually break this thing, right? By the time you start breaking it, you start paying because that's where a lot of the work comes through. So what we then decided to sort of do, I mean, I eventually walked away from this because it was just a bad thing. We started paying money, paying support, and we're paying in dollars, just a ridiculous amount of money. We started to cut our losses and leave it. But it becomes a bit, if you are the one building the software, you want to adopt what they call lean startup methodology. I don't know if you are familiar with it, which basically says that as you build a module in your software, you test it immediately. So you take it out to your early adopters and innovators. You say to them, guys, test this thing, and they give you feedback, and you fix and you iterate. And as you fix, you take it back to them, they use it. And then as they're using it, they're happy with it, you sign it off. And then you move on to the next module. You build the next module, you give it to them. So what you are in essence doing is, the mistake that we made is we built the product and we then, after building the product, we took it to market. And that's not how you build a tech product. You build a tech product step by step in partnership with your customer. Don't wait to build it. You know, this thing of build it and they'll come. In the tech space, it doesn't work. You build it in partnership with your customers. You build it, they use certain functionalities, they give you feedback. And the more this iteration back and forth, the more these iterations that you do, right, the better and the more solid the product comes. So you don't want to build it and finish building it and then take it out to market. That's the wrong approach. We learned the hard way. We built this thing, took it out to market, and there were a lot of bugs and things like that. But had we built this in partnership with our customers, we'd have picked up those bugs immediately on this little phase and would have fixed them. And we would have gone that way. And we fix the bugs as we go. Don't try and launch a new product to the masses without having iterated with the customer. So I can't say it's 30 days. I say it's a continuous process. So launch with 10 people, get feedback, fix, increase to 15 people, increase to 20 people, get feedback, go that way. It becomes an iterative, ongoing process. I wouldn't say we are testing this with 30 people and let's see how it goes. Don't build it completely and go out there and test it. Build it continuously.
Okay, thanks so much for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, there we go. Arabang, I think you had something you wanted to ask. Do you want to just quickly jump? I'm going to extend this by another 10 minutes with your approval. I think it's very important that I give you guys that interaction. Of course, there was going to be part 2, but let's just jump straight into what may be your interest. If the others delay, just jump on. Richmond, Tuso, yeah, classmate. I think you are trying to break beyond Botswana, right? You guys have tested. You've done a telco partnership with BTC. Education is raising a lot of money, Mr. Tuso. I mean, you know this. So what's your perspective, man? I mean, what's your perspective on, like, where do you see your growth? Like, where's the exit for you? Because certainly it's not Botswana, right? We've got only, I don't know, you can share with us how many kids are in the school system, but majority of them are sitting in these poor countries. Like, I know in Zambia already, like, there's 20 million kids on school. So yeah, so what's your thoughts? Maybe you want to just interject there.
Thank you, Mr. T. It's really tough, man. We've been doing this, we've been into this game for almost 4 years now, even before the advent of COVID and stuff like that, because we thought we found a niche, because first of all, you have to find a niche, I mean, before you can start building up something. So we looked at the results from 5 to 10 years, they were going down, like seriously going down. So we thought maybe coming out with a e-learning solution will make a change, but obviously then there was an issue of culture, you know, like you go to schools and they don't embrace, you know, the use of technology. Even the parents, most of the parents are not happy to allow their students to, I mean, their children to use the platforms.
Yeah, what I spoke about yesterday, right? Remember what I said yesterday, yeah. Like before COVID, yeah, bro, Roche. Yeah. Nobody believed that they can trust video, like what's happening right now, right? Like the whole world didn't believe like video can be a platform because video is not new, right? And I think that's what Classmate is doing. Like this is like video-based learning type of platform for schools, delivery of content. But now look at this, like we're running like a campaign in 190 countries, 40,000 events. We're getting expertise, we're partnering with banks. So I don't know, what does this say in terms of education too? So I mean, like, what's your sense of scale of what you guys are doing at Classmate?
Well, maybe just to share my experience, it's still very difficult even up to this point, because like Doc has just said about, you know, the market segment, because sometimes we tend to say, wow, okay, my target market is the Minister of Education. I mean, who is the Minister of Education, first of all? I mean, well, maybe at one point, yes, you really have to get a partner, depending on which kind of a partner you want and at what stage, because If you go to the Minister of Education, I mean, there is a cleaner there. There is different people. So who's really your customer? So we thought maybe at the ministry level, because they are the policy makers, they will simply jump in and adopt our product. Unfortunately, we wasted almost 2-3 years, I mean, running after the ministry, only to learn that if you go to schools, because that is where you get a pool of your clients. You've got a student, you've got a teacher, you've got a parent there. And as soon as we realized that, and things started to change now, because the schools are the ones who have got the pain. Because first of all, you should know who's really feeling that pain. Because I mean, if the students are not doing well, obviously then the teachers will have to worry about it, and the parents will have to worry about it, and even the students will have to worry about it. So now we changed the approach. Then we decided to go to schools, because schools are autonomous. And then recently, I mean, from July, we managed to register at least about 15 schools. And we failed to do that for almost 2 years now. So you can see that sometimes you can chase a wrong horse. So, I mean, that is the experience that you learn. Even your product, you need to really have your product, really addressing the actual problem. Because sometimes you tend to feel that maybe people hate you, maybe people hate your product, but not knowing that what you are offering to the market is not really what they want. Because we startups, we tend to be too emotional. We always think that what we are doing, because we are more product orientated, and forgetting that we are not doing this for ourselves. So, I mean, for you guys, while you are coming after me, you should learn what is a journey, because things like market segment is very, very important to really pick the right guy. And then also the issue of partnership. There are times when you need partnership, but not necessarily a partner who will give you money, but at least a partner who can take you through. Like we have a Botswana Innovation Hub, we've got Boost. They really helped us to garner other partnerships because of where we are. Because we even managed to have people like CNN come into Botswana to come and profile our product. So the journey, guys, is very, very painful. And you should wake up every morning, and they say every day is a hunting day, but it's not a shooting day. I mean, you really have to work very hard to get it. You earn it. It doesn't just come. For some people, they see us and they think, well, these guys have made it. Yeah, man, it's still tough. I mean, I must tell you. Yeah.
And you were all over TV during COVID, and everybody sees you, and you're all over the billboards, and they think there's the
radios and everything.
Yeah.
I think, what is most important? Yes, you have to be all over, so that at least is people are aware of your product. Because as soon as people are aware of your product and they adopt it, then it's just a matter of sliding in.
Yeah, Bro Roche, your interaction there.
I think this is quite amazing. I think what Rich is talking about is precisely what happens in practice. You're gonna be chasing some things for 3 years and actually realize that you are chasing the wrong people. And I think that's why we have a session like this to sort of assist, and also mentorship helps. Because I would have told you from straight up, forget government. It's a painful way of doing business. Your product helps to the pain is, and I like what you said, the pain is experienced by the students and the school and the parents. And that's where the market is. So and the 3 years is a long time, But unfortunately, that's the school fees we pay for some of these things. We lost almost $500,000 because we invested in the product. And the way we went about it was just a nightmare. And, it's the school fees we pay. And we learn from these things, and we come back and we realize that actually we would have been far much better had we built our own product ourselves and just use the lean startup methodology approach. But to your point, I mean, also know the partners that you're not going to do this by yourself. You want to be able to have the right partners. And I like also what you say, it's not just about money, it's about also resources. They might avail resources, or sometimes they might even avail customers to you. And you might partner with some people that will, they know somebody who knows somebody, and those people can actually take your business to the next level. So you want to be in the ecosystem, and you want to also, know what's happening. So yeah, I love what David was saying. We must invite him to my biggest blunders, because that's a very painful lesson. But we all do that. We make those mistakes.
So
that's the journey of entrepreneurship.
So I will pick you on that.
But I like what you also said. Yeah. So the idea is the guys who are still coming, they learn from this type of sessions and also not make the same mistakes that some of us have made.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just to manage time, I'm gonna give over to Arabang and Richmond just before we jump off. Yeah, please go ahead. Let's keep it brief so that we're out of this session by in the next 5 minutes. Yeah.
Good morning. I think you guys touched on something I heavily related to about how we in tech usually build products without engaging the people we are building for.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate part too. So, and I don't know, that's the unfortunate part. We learned the hard way. We build products and then we take them to market. In fact, what we should be doing is we should be going to the market and coming back and building the product. And I think often, and most businesses, and not just startups, but also established businesses have made that mistake of obsessing about themselves and their product. And Nokia made the same mistake of obsessing about it. BlackBerry made the same mistake of obsessing about BBM and all these things. And the market moved. The market moved on. People saw what Apple was doing, and people transitioned. And by the time BlackBerry woke up, research in motion, by the time they woke up and saw that the market, what's happening, the market was gone already. So they were more obsessed about themselves than about the customer. And what I always try and re-emphasize is the state of your product or the state of your business should be highly dependent on the state of your customer. If the customers say, we don't want it in red anymore, we want it in green, it means the business needs to change and be green. If next year the customers decide, we don't want to do this, we want this, it means your business needs to also, it needs to be that agile to a large part. Of course, other parts of your business will be static, but other parts need to be driven by what the market says, not the other way around. And the teacher put it very well. You're not building this product for yourself. You're building this product for the customer. It's about the customer. The hero of the show is not you, the entrepreneur. The hero of the show is the customer, right? So that's what the hero of the show. The person who needs to stand at the pedestal and take the award is the customer. Because without him, you don't have the business, right? So, and I think it's always like a rude awakening when I say this. The hero of this whole thing is not you. You are a servant. And I give this example quickly. When you go to a restaurant, and this is what we do as entrepreneurs. When you go to a restaurant, you get into a restaurant, you get a waiter. A waiter comes and takes your order, and he goes to the back office, to the kitchen. They prepare your order, and they give you the order that you have requested. So, using this analogy, you are the waiter, the customer is the person who's giving you the order. Your job as an entrepreneur is to go to the back office and prepare the order according to the way the customer wants it. Now you can imagine you go to a restaurant, Arabang, and you get in there and the waiter tells you what you're gonna eat. The waiter tells you, no, today, Arabang, you're going to eat fish and chips. Who said I want to eat it? No, as the waiter, I'm telling you, this is how we run our business. We tell our customers what they're gonna eat. And we take offense when they don't buy from us. We don't understand why they don't buy from us, because we tell them they're going to eat fish and chips today. And whether they want steak and porridge, whether you want to give them fish and chips. So it's important to understand that as entrepreneurs, we are waiters to our customers. Our job is to take the orders, execute. And if a waiter serves you very well, he gets the best tips, right? And chances are you're gonna come back to that restaurant. Chances are when you come back, you're going to ask for that waiter. If you do a very good job as an entrepreneur of waiting or saving your customers, they're gonna come back and they won't have issues of paying you what you're charging them, because you are giving them what they want with a smile, efficiently. They don't have to wait for an hour, efficiently. So yeah, long story short, we are waiters saving our customers, not the other way around.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brother Roche. Richmond, maybe let's just sum it up from your side.
Hello, Sir Roche.
Yes, sir.
I'll firstly like to just say thank you for this opportunity. I really related to from the get-go when you mentioned that you used to be a practicing accountant. I'm actually currently a practicing accountant. I'm currently using those funds to fund my my little startup here. And when you really hit home is when you were telling us that as the founder, we shouldn't try and do everything ourselves. You see, and that was really a problem that I've been having because I'm actually a founder of a gaming company. Now, the problem is that when you get people to help you out, not only do you have to do the work, but your job is also to motivate the people you've brought into. And my main problem was that the time I'm wasting motivating these guys, I could be pushing development further. So I get a little bit depressed at that. Like, I'm wasting a lot of time motivating you guys to do what we have agreed upon. And this time I could be doing it to deliver the product, to perfect the product. So I don't know how you'd advise for us to like overcome that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's it. Yeah. I mean, the question is why are you still doing development if you have people who are supposed to be doing development, right? So that's the thing, right? And we spoke about this, building a team and getting the right people to come through. And I think, you know, the difficult part is letting go. And I don't know if the has experience. It's letting go. It's saying, yes, you know, this product, I've been working on it. I need to get people to come and do this product, work on the product, and I can maybe say work on business development, right? Because that's in essence what usually happens. The startup founder puts the basic product out there, and then he brings a team of people who work on improving the product, and the founder then goes and looks for business because he understands the product far. He's more intimately involved with it. He knows the product, and he goes out there and looks for business. And of course, also in the process, motivate the team. And that's the transition that as you're growing, so people don't have time, but I think we'll talk about it in the next step. The transition that you need to do of moving away from being a startup entrepreneur to being a leader of an organization. And that's what you need to be moving towards. You are now a leader of an organization. And if you're a leader of an organization, your job is to lead people and not do the technical work. You can't do the technical work. You need to work on getting the technical people to come and do the technical work. Your job is to lead this team of people. And that transition is not a like a day and night type of a thing. You need to be very careful because at some point you are doing the work, at some point you are leading. But the goal should be that you get the guys to do the technical work and you focus only on leading them and maybe also doing business development. So it's a very thin line, but if you find that you are doing the technical work, why then have these people? Because what you would really want is you want to do the business development and they do the technical work. And I find that that approach works far much better because you are then able to motivate them that do the technical work and you look for business and you deal with customer relationships and stakeholder relationships. That tends to work far much better. But it's not a seamless process. You find yourself caught in between the two. But I would say have a very solid team of developers, and then you focus on. I mean, it's a Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs thing. Wozniak focus on the technical part, Jobs focus on the business development, right? So you want to be the Jobs. You want to be the one who's focusing on the business development, and you get somebody who's very quickly with technical work. But say, for instance, in a situation you can't get the right person to do the technical work, and you have to do the technical work, and then you get somebody who does the business development work, right? So you need to find a way of, as you're doing the technical work, find somebody who will be very good at doing the business development. And that's why getting the right people is very critical. Because if you find yourself having to manage these people and do the work, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. So recruiting the right team becomes very, very, very critical. You can't have passengers on the bus. Especially as a startup, if it's the four of us in a startup and one person is slacking off, it means 25% of the business is not shooting in that cylinder. That's huge. That's very huge. You can't have passengers in the bus all of us need to be shooting in all cylinders, because if it's 4 of us, we are 25% each in the business. So some people need to go.
So true. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, that is so true. And I've had to let people go for that main reason, because I'm like, no, we have to all work efficiently. We need to finish this. Yeah, but thank you so much. I'll definitely try. The search is on.
All the best. All the best.
All right, colleagues, we've run out of time, and I just had to make leeway because of your approval that you sent to me virtually. But in essence, we should keep the time because we understand your schedules are actually quite tight. So there will be part 2 of this as per calendar that has been shared to your emails. What's exciting about this is we're keeping it very short. That's why they're called master classes. So they're just supposed to be like speed way of getting the insights. But then of course, as a follow-up, like, look, I'm just gonna send you a poll to say, hey, do you wanna have a one-on-one? Would you like to have a one-on-one with Dr. Roche? His time is very limited, right? You can imagine. So if you are interested in a one-on-one deep dive, you guys know what to do. You're connected to me on WhatsApp, and just send me and say, hey, look, book me a time, right? So it's part of what we're planning for next week before we conclude the program, that you get a deep dive into what you're doing and get like one-on-one feedback. Like that's like very raw and direct. That the idea is to give it to you in the best way that it needs to be given. I'm sure you've seen the content that's coming. So yeah, Dr. Roche, I think at this juncture, we would like to come to an end. Maybe request you to maybe just share screen of your website once more again for those that may be viewing on Facebook and all over the world to know how to get access to you. If any contacts, you just pointed on the link. The link is actually, the recording is gonna be live on the Global Entrepreneurship Week Botswana page. So please feel free to go there and access the content. It's free. For those that are in the cohort, yeah, like I said, there will be a deep dive if maybe you would like a one-on-one with Roche or access the PowerPoints or the content. We can arrange for that, but that has to be on request and approval. There are certain packs that have to be done to receive that. We don't want to overload you with information, but we want you to build your businesses. That's the whole goal at the end of the day. So I think at this juncture, let me just stop here and thank you. The hashtag is GEW21. The sponsors are corporate, Stanbic Bank. And please just jump on lauracenter.com. You can see the different courses. If this may be a bit too advanced for you, just have a conversation with Dr. Roche or tell your family, friend, or whoever else may wanna see you. I've personally benefited on this content, so I wouldn't be where I am without this. So I'm a true blueprint of this content. So if you want to ask me how much money I've made off tapping into this content, let's have coffee so that I can share with you. Roche, your final words, then we are out. And then to colleagues, 2 p.m. World Bank session. Please be on that session. It's very important because you're looking for money, right? So be on that World Bank session at 2 p.m. You've been invited. And it will be very interesting. Yeah, so Roche, last words, and then we are out in a
Thank you so much. You know, I enjoyed the interactions, and I apologize if the content was too much. We usually do this over a 4-hour session. So I try to, you know, pick up the unnecessary part. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to one-on-one sessions with you just to deep dive into how we can actually assist and advise on certain areas. So thank you so much, Tegere, and keep up the amazing work.
Cheers. All right, thank you guys. That's it. Let's meet on Friday with Dr. Roche. Friday as per calendar. The rest of the programs continues as shared. And have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.